Hi everyone! If you want to grow delicious tomatoes, then you've come to the right channel. The taste of tomatoes is the main point for me in the first, second and third place. And in today's video, we'll talk about new interesting tomato varieties combined in one fabulous series. So, the collection Short and Sweet by Olivier of Canada, created in the style of the Wizard of Oz, that's where our Tomato Express is going today. Take your seats, we are getting started. Let's start our journey to the land of Oz, as we should, on the Yellow Brick Road. This is the name of the first tomato in today's review. Yellow Brick Road is a compact dwarf with wrinkled potato foliage, with a height of no more than 1 foot 8 inches or 50 centimeters, and for all intents and purposes, it is determinate. I only partially pruned the plants, but perhaps I should still have taken the advice and not pruned them at all, given that the plants are not tall, they easily produce a crop on all the stems they create. The tomatoes are flat round, cocktail-sized, cheerfully striped, yellow-orange colors. They ripen rapidly and therefore easy to pick. The fruits weighed about 2 ounces or 60 grams, and inside I found a flash of predominantly yellow color with flecks of pink tones. These bicolors turned out to be very juicy, and their taste is undoubtedly pleasant, with sweetness and unusual fruity notes. Although, to be honest, I didn't even expect such a rich tomato flavor. I thought it was a bit honeyed, and eating such tomatoes is a delight. The acidity is barely perceptible, and I can conclude that Yellow Brick Road Dwarf is a great option for an early crop of really tasty tomatoes. Yes, it turns out that you cannot put up with the mediocre taste of fruits in pursuit of picking tomatoes a little earlier than others. In general, a good and interesting variety which is worth paying attention to. And now, don't forget to put on your green glasses, because we are entering the Emerald City, and that is where the rules are. Emerald City is the name of the next variety in the collection. The plants with white leaves were only a little higher than the Yellow Brick Road, and by midsummer they were 2 feet or 60 centimeters tall, so I don't recommend you to prune this variety either, as it stops growing on its own. Tomatoes of medium size, emerald yellow color, striped and look beautiful. The variety is also early ripening, and it seemed to me that it's even slightly more yielding than Yellow Brick Road, although here rather influenced the different care. In any case, the tomato is unproblematic. After planting in the ground, requires only a small trimming of the lower leaves. The weight of tomatoes varied around 2 and 2.5 ounces or 60 and 80 grams, and the flesh of course is emerald in color. Tomatoes are juicy, and their flavor is even hard to describe. It is sweet, the acidity is almost not noticeable, but in general, the bouquet of flavors is complex, rich and very interesting. I don't even know what other green when ripe variety it can be compared to. It's not Shkatulka, it's not absinthe, it's not Grub's Mystery Green, it's something special, unlike any other varieties I've tasted before. Dwarf Emerald City is undoubtedly a delicious tomato, which I think is easy to explain, because there are not many varieties in this series, which means they were selected from a huge number of strains during the stabilization process, and certainly Karen would have paid close attention to taste qualities. The flavor is intense, which is again doubly pleasant, especially since Emerald City is also an early variety. And now I want to show you the most productive, at least I had it that way, dwarf tomato in the series called Ruby Slippers, from which during the season I literally collected hundreds of fruits. It is also one of the tallest dwarfs in the collection. When grown in a large number of stems, the height of the plants was at least 2 feet 7 inches or 80 centimeters. Ruby Slippers is a real hard worker variety, setting a huge number, although not large, but beautiful tomatoes. The fruits are slightly ribbed, resembling either a strawberry or a tomato with a small nipple, although more likely something in between. And their coloring is bright red with noticeable orange touches. Also, these tomatoes among all representatives of this tomato collection are the most dense, thanks to which they are well stored both on the bunches and after picking. And yes, of course, they are suitable for canning. All fruits were plus or minus the same size and weighed just under 1 ounce or 25 grams. The walls of the tomatoes are thick and the flesh is bright red with crimson shades inside. And of course, an important advantage of the Ruby Slippers dwarf is that it's also delicious. A true cherry tomato with a balanced flavor. A very good trend, as it seems to me, is that recently there are more and more dwarfs that provide tasty cherry fruits, because not so long ago they could be counted on the fingers of one hand. Another thing that I remembered is that I used to pick Ruby Slippers tomatoes regularly until the end of the season, because in this case the plants act as indeterminate and only severe weather conditions can stop their growth. Dwarf Ruby Slippers is undoubtedly able to decorate both any garden and any dish. But this is not the last variety for today. The next tomato in the short and sweet series is called Sweet Baby Jade. It is a variety with beautiful olive-colored fruits. I noted once that I especially liked their equally beautiful foliage, which stood out noticeably among all my dwarfs. Wrinkled, dark, and very wide. The number of stems and plants of this variety I at some point simply stopped counting, and their height by the middle of the season was about 2 feet 4 inches or 70 centimeters. Fruits are rounded and shiny. Tomatoes on the plants are many, and their ripening is quite easy to determine. In general, the variety has high decorative qualities, but after all, you and I gathered here today not for this, or rather, not only for this. So let's look at the tomatoes in more detail. In terms of size, Sweet Baby Jade dwarf fruits are definitely cherry tomatoes, and their average weight was about 1 ounce or 25 grams. The flesh is moderately dense and green in color, and the taste is sweet, with exotic notes without noticeable acidity. After all, it's not for nothing that the variety is called Sweet Baby Jade. Refreshing and pleasant flavor, which is to be expected from a green when ripe tomato. To summarize, I can say that in my conditions, all 4 varieties from the collection showed themselves perfectly and were able to fully reveal their high taste qualities. This is another tomato line by Olivier that is definitely worth a try. Yes, you may remember that according to the plot of the story, the heroes went to the Emerald City on the Yellow Brick Road to ask the Wizard of Oz to fulfill their wishes, overcame many obstacles along the way, and in the end their dreams came true. Well, on the threshold of New Year's holidays, I just wish you not to lose what you already have, namely courage, brains, and most importantly, heart.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe, and of course, love tomatoes, grow tomatoes. This is the Lucky Garden channel, and see you soon.